Ladies, gentlemen, and other distinguished friends, welcome back to the Anti-Stall Racing IMSA League. I'm Simon Davison, joined by George Hill. Steve Hailwood is nowhere to be seen today. But here we are for round one of a 7-race series, starting here at Fuji Speedway. We have some 40 cars on track, I believe, ready for what promises to be a good season of racing, and also a very dangerous season of racing, because this is now on the patch where we finally have the weather, we have the rain, we have all of the terrifying things to come. This should be an exciting one to watch. Currently starting up with GT3 qualifying, as we have all the cars going around now for their opening laps. George, how are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Excited for the new season. It's my first race commentating / broadcasting in 2 years, I think. Probably hopped in the commentary booth once or twice since then to cover for other people. But yeah, first time in a long time doing this properly, which will be fun. So if there's any little hiccups on the broadcast, I can actually see there's a couple of things overlapping that shouldn't be, so we'll get that sorted out. But apart from that, let's go out, have a good day. Always fun to see GT3 qualifying. Like you say, look, a few little graphical issues that we're working out.
Sorry, we'll get it sorted over time. I got the number now. 39 cars on track, so I was close. Obviously, everyone currently, they've done their warm-up laps, and now they'll go for their flyers. Probably enough fuel and tyres to do 2 here. Fuji, honestly, I was going to do the Fuji 8 hours whenever that was last year with my team. And I think we all collectively tried Fuji in the GT3s, and we all realised this track is painful to drive. It just feels so cumbersome, especially this last sector. You have to be so careful around each and every single one of these corners, because if you go slightly offline, you are just completely lost. So these drivers are going to have to be extra careful, especially here if you're trying to make an overtake happen in the qualify.
Oh, there we go.
You need to be careful not to go around like that.
Yeah, so like you're saying, very cumbersome to drive around. We've got a very long straight that goes from all the way from the final corner down to a really heavy braking zone in turn 1. So cars running pretty skinny wings. So it just makes a sort of a big right-hander, which will be turn 4 and turn 5 all the way through there, is pretty painful, especially in these low downforce cars, and even in the GCPs, which we'll see in qualifying at the 16-minute mark, but they will also not be having the best time around this track.
No. And you mentioned turns 4 and 5. I think, honestly, the worst one is the 13, 14, 15 complex, because mentally you want to carry so much speed through that section, but then you get into turn 15, and you just need to slow down to an absolute crawl to get the apex there, which is just something that's really weird to get your head around. As we go on board here, try and figure out who this is.
1 second. Apologies, everybody. We'll get the hang of this quite quickly. So I can tell you, we're on board with Ignace, a car in P2 at the moment. So he's on another flyer. Go on board with Casper. He's just set purple sector 2 and is run down to the line. What's it going to be? See if he can top that time that he's already done. Only on pole at the moment by 0.02 of a second. Can he improve? Drive to the line. Such a long run. He's going to be there. Doesn't improve. Oh, does improve.
No,
there we go.
Thank you very much. Currently chasing a 1:42.83 then. As he brings it back around turn 1. So it looks like he's going to try and go for a second lap. So we'll go on board with him then for this lap as he goes around probably the safest corner. It's your standard hairpin. Then you get it through turn 2, carrying as much speed as you dare. Then this section where your downforce really starts to go away through you, through 4, 100R, excuse me, and then into the apex of turn 5. Heavy on the brakes, tight little corner here, through the hairpin, slide it out, and then it's essentially a straight run down towards turn 10. There's a few labelled corners here, but you see how little he has to steer to get through them. Then once again, heavy on the anchors. Try to get car all the way as far right as it'll go, because you need to then bring it back around, and then once again, watch out for the sausage curve on the inside there. It will upset the car greatly. Curve it out all the way to the outside. Bit more sausage than you perhaps would have wanted there. Have to get the car all the way across the track, because you need to find the inside for the apex here again. In this entire section, I think he's had enough of that.
Okay, on board now with Daniel Morphy. P3, again, run to the line, but he's purple in Sector 2. Can he improve?
So looking likely he needs to find 0.2 of a second to get P1. It's just this long wait until you find the line, and he will, in fact, go purple overall, straight to the top of 41.59 for him.
Interesting to see that done in the BMW as well. Only BMW in the field that I can see.
I believe you're right as well. That is the sole BMW that's put itself on pole there. Good mix of Audis and Porsches in the rest. Oh no, yeah, Audis, Porsches. I see one Mercedes and like 4 Ferraris as well.
Yeah, a couple of Ferraris hanging around towards the back of the field there, it has to be said. The German manufacturer is really dominating at the moment, it looks like, in the GT3 class. I think we maybe got
about
a little
halfway
bit of a lull.
Through. Yeah, halfway through qualifying, everyone will be taking their resets, getting back out again as rapidly as they can. A few drivers on green times at the bottom of your screen there. Ricardo River potentially improving on that sector, will go up to 8th. Keldar comes through, puts his car into 4th place. Lemeray improves to 15th, I believe. But a pretty tight spread so far.
On board with Juan here. P19 at the moment. Green in Sector 1, yellow in Sector 2. Gonna need to find a little bit more. In the AM class though, so it doesn't need to go right to the top.
But obviously you want to be as far forward as you can in your category, just to make sure that you can, well, even in the overall, right? Because even if you're putting pro cars between you, they're not for positions, but those are still cars that your opponents in your category will have to overtake, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We saw Sebastian van der Heuvel last season in GTP AM, but able to mix it up with the pros at some of the events, particularly towards the end of the season. He found a bit more speed, and that just helped him in his battle for the championship, which eventually he won, because even if it's just a couple of spots, it gives you a bit more buffer to the guys behind you. And if it's during the race and you're able to put that car between you and the guy behind, it gives you more time in the pit stop. You can take it a little bit more carefully, put in a little bit more fuel without losing the position to the car that actually matters.
Oh, Mena goes around into the barrier but won't come back on track. That's going to be a tow, but he'll get away with bruised ego. This is only qualifying.
Okay, this is Alvaro, P13 at the moment. Pro driver. Needs to move up a little bit from that. A couple of AMs ahead of him as well that'll want to beat, if not for anything serious, but for pride. A lot of curb there through turn 10. Up the hill.
Again, you need to take as much of the curb as you can. You need to just get the car all the way around the track. And if you want to carry momentum, that does involve ending up on the curb, especially on the exits of the corners.
Yeah, GT3's generally pretty compliant over them as well. 3D curbs here as well, important to note. One of the few tracks in iRacing that does have them. Just avoids the sausage on the exit. Perfect line there. What's it going to be? Running to the line. Can he improve? He's green, he's green. Forget how far down the start-finish straight the line is here.
That line there. So we'll wait for timing and scoring to verify. That will improve to P6.
Big improvement there, and that's not far off the front, about 6 tenths, I believe. Apologies, like I said, still trying to get the what we want. We want gap and we want interval off, but I can't turn off interval.
Oh no. Well, we'll have to deal with the gap then, and we can see that Daniel Morpee has just over a tenth lead over Casper Ullman. I will apologise. I'm British English trying to pronounce a lot of foreign surnames. It's going to go wrong, but Ignas Vinceveskis, there we go, got there eventually, in P3. Ummerlin has actually taken pole now by 0.04 of a second.
Pretty packed up field as well. 1.3 seconds covers the top 15, and that is Casper goes to P1.
And 3am Dujaweed.
Yeah, not sure what's happened with his name there.
That later.
That's Glenn.
Well, either way, there's a purple sector there. 2 purple sectors. Only good enough for P13. Continuing to roll down. Time's ticking down, so we'll start to see drivers take their final runs. Potentially got time for an outlap, but heading towards the end. So if you've got time in the track time in the car, you'll need to find it now. Now chasing a 41.20 again set by Casper Ummerlin. '88 has gone triple yellows though, so it will be that time to beat for everybody else. Ubatali can't improve. Race control is in fact testing.
Yeah,
a lot of yellows across the board here.
Looks like we've got some technical difficulties in race control, so just trying to sort them out in the background. That's why you're seeing a couple of test messages coming through at the moment.
But Glenn Van Duyjeweerd in that 20 has a purple, has a green, currently at 13th place. I suspect that time is going to go down significantly. He drives towards the line. And that is 10th place, despite having a purple, despite setting purples in earlier sectors. But he will be the second car in the Anfield, Ignas Vincevskis. I'm going to be tripping over that all day, and I will apologise now, but he will be the AM leader as it stands.
I'm sure we'll get some corrections in post-race interviews from certain drivers on their names.
I need it.
Some slightly passive-aggressive messages in the Discord afterwards. We are trying our best, we promise. My trick tends to be sometimes use the first name, sometimes use the surname, whichever's easiest to pronounce.
I should do that, but unfortunately I'm committed to my stupidity.
And to be honest, though, sometimes both of them are difficult for us English people to pronounce.
Checker flag has come out for the GT3 qualifying. A few final drivers taking their times. Doesn't look like anyone's massively improving. Ubatali gets the car into 4th. Quaranta will stay in 20th. Adam Jarvis approaching the line. Has taken apparently 4 minutes on that lap, so I don't think that's going to be an improvement for them. But that will be the last of the GT3s through the line as we now wait for the green flag for the GTP hypercar field.
Yeah, so we can already see cars lining up in the pit lane, which is always good to see. see if we can take a look who's at the front of it. Oh, there they are. Setting off onto the track, I believe. That would be a few seconds early. Just still queuing up in the pit lane, actually. Can't seem to get any of them on camera.
Well, as we eagerly await the start of the GTP field, you see them there on the left of your screen. Oh, So I count 2 Cadillacs, 2 Porsches, and the rest Acuras in this, I believe. Yep, 15? No. I can't count. Some number of cars, just under 20. So, obviously, the BOP still favouring the Acura overall, you would have to guess, but...
Yeah, that's definitely the way it is. Try and get the car logo showing on screen. There we go.
There it is.
So, yeah, a whole lot of Acuras, isn't it?
Yeah,
all Acuras, 2
honestly,
Caddies and 2 Porsches. Nice to see a bit of variation.
But based on the results we were seeing in the last season, I can't exactly disagree with the results. I don't believe the balance has changed at all on the recent rain patch.
No, not much to note for change other than that the Cadillac in particular seems to be a little bit difficult to drive in the wet, so Caddy drivers might be in trouble if it rains. It has been confirmed by race control that it will not rain today, but it will rain in future races. We thought we'd have a stable race for today. So let's go on board with Xiao in the Cadillac. Do you want to take us through this lap?
Well, here we go then. Fast, hard dive into turn 1. Find your braking point on the left. Hard on the brakes. Ease up. Try and get the car even through. And once again, wash out to the outside. Fairly quick flick through turn 2. And again, want to carry as much speed as you dare through here. A little bit more cautious on the curbs than perhaps the GT3s would be. Ease out through this corner. You again, fairly low trim due to the fact that you have a lot of straights to work with, so you need to be wary of how much downforce you're carrying. Easy through the hairpin. And then once again, fairly flat, fast section. And where that low downforce can really come in handy. Just building as much speed down here as you can. Hard on the brakes. You might want to wash out here, but you really need to stay towards the right because you need to bring it back to the left. And then same, but the other direction. As you go out, tidy in, mind the sausage curds on the outside here. And then again, let the car wash out on the exits. As you head in towards turn 15, all the way through. Curve braking zone in towards turn 16. Car gets straightened up, a little bit of curve on the outside there you can take. And then it's full on the floor, down towards the line, massive straight. Hope you've got as little downforce in the car as you can get away with. And Diaz will set a 28.9 as the opener. Like, as much as I would say you would want a draft in these situations, I'm not necessarily sure you want to be near cars in Fuji in qualifying setup. Because if you're low downforce, the amount you'll benefit from a tow is somewhat limited towards what you might get, and what you really don't want to be is stuck behind a car in especially the last sector of the track. I'm looking at the sector markings, and it's just the sector 3 line is right in the middle of where I mentally place sector 3, which is turn 10, the end of that second back straight. So yeah, just a case of find a gap and try and maintain it, and just hope that whatever time you're setting is good enough to hold the lead. Leader's time is not showing on your leaderboard, but I will tell you it is the reigning champion, Matthias Wisden, who had the run of the field last time out.
A margin as well, 4 temps. P2 and P3 incredibly close to each other, just 2,000s in it. Balaz, currently in P9, purple sector 2. What can he do? Comes to the line, 2 purple sectors. Where's that going to put him? P1 by 4 temps.
Very nice. That very nice.
Serious competition for Mateus this season. Not going to have it easy like he maybe has done in the past.
Immediate toe taken as well. Nobody wants to do 2 laps on the tyres in the GTP field, it would appear. It'll be one and done for their flying laps.
So
more times come through. Ovale goes P3.
We're talking about the toe earlier on in this short GTP session, and actually this is one of the main advantages of having teammates in the series. I believe there are a couple of different hypercars that share a team, and they will be able to use that massively to their advantage. You can have a tow all the way down the main straight, and then they'll get out of your way. So it'll be interesting to see if, I think Mateus has a couple of teammates this season as well. Interesting to see if they are able to help him out to maybe try and secure that pole for the team.
Well, based on the timing screen so far, he's got 4 tenths to make up. As
currently P3 at the moment as well.
Yeah, Albert Priam has managed to put the car in front, albeit just barely, not even 400ths of a second, excuse me. But fairly promising fight at the start of the pack, certainly. Obviously, this is just the first round of qualifying laps. Gutierrez will also get it second, so looks like the track's evolving a little bit. The driver's just able to find some space. You can see Alex Ott putting the car third provisionally as well. Because the toe might be powerful, but if you time it badly, that toe can turn into dirty air, and especially through this sector in particular, that's the last thing you want. Because the car's washing out through the corner, it just means you're going to end up right on the inside as you approach the next corner, and that is not a good place to be at Fuji, unfortunately. Jean-Paul Cement, double greens, currently in 16th. Most likely to improve as Widgeton not able to improve their lap time. So he goes to the line, it will be a 137. A little bit further down the pack than he would perhaps would have wanted with that lap, but slow improvement. Hugendorn goes to P8 with a 28.02.
Mateus gone fastest in Sector 1. Purple lap time, 23.5 in Sector 1. What can he do in Sector 2? Should be coming around that line. It's not on your screen at the moment. Not quite sure why. Trying to work on getting that there for you. But for now, we'll watch this lap.
Should hopefully appear if he gets closer to the start-finish.
Okay.
Oh, no, he's... I don't know.
Not sure. Like we all said, first time using this. We'll get there eventually. 4 temps down. There we go. Mateus. Purple Sector 1, green Sector 2. But a very good Sector 2, very competitive. Might not have been purple, but maybe that's the nature of the Acura. Maybe it's one of the other cars that has purple Sector 2. Starts that long run down to the line.
Is he fast enough to take the pole? Finally goes across the timing line. And for his efforts, he is rewarded P3.
He's not going to have it easy, is he?
Gutierrez. No, he's not. He is going to have to fight if he wants to take the win tonight, but still, just over 5 minutes left in qualifying, so he's got time to set another lap. But so does everyone else, so still potential for improvement. Lots of yellows on the board right now, though, so I don't see too much in terms of movement on the tower. I say as Verdonk actually sneaks up into 10th. And Tarowski just comes out and sets double purple, so I'm just going to shut up.
Indeed he does. Already P1 by 1.5 temps, going purple. Could be a big improvement here. Through the final corner. Rival normal curve, don't get near the sausage. Purple car.
Purple in the timing sectors. It's going to be a good lap, whatever happens here, but it's a question of how good is it? It's triple purple. Oh, he has definitely absolutely smashed it. 26.832. 5 tenths clear of the entire field as it stands.
What a lap.
Take a bow, Balaz Tarowski. Troxy.
Absolutely incredible to put half a second on the field in the first round of the season is a big marker to lay down, and he's going to tell the rest of the field, particularly Mateus, you've got to bring your A game if you want to beat me. Now, we'll see what Mateus can do to fight back, but it looks like he didn't have loads left in that car to use. This is Mateus about to start the next lap. Let's see what he can do. He's going to need to find something magical. Not even P2 at the moment. Only by a little bit, but not P2, and even that will bug him. He'll want to be on the front row because you're a much clearer run down to turn 1. You can play things the way you want to. He's starting the lap now. His teammate behind. So interesting that they've gone that Mateus is going to tow his teammate and not the other way around. Into turn 1. Turns in nicely, gently, using all of the runoff. No off track there. All good for him.
Important to note, though, Alex Dodd has just taken P2. So as it stands right now, Wichton is P4. If he wants to improve, he needs to set this lap. He cannot afford to go off track. He needs to make sure this is probably one of the best laps he's ever put out. But if he's pushing that hard, he's so scared. He's just going to take a little bit too much of an apex, get that 1x, and that is your qualifying session over because you do not have enough time to get another setup lap.
Yeah, interesting to see if anyone backs out this time round to have another go. Might be the play, or a cooldown lap. We'll just have time for that. Will be a pretty quick cooldown lap, but you will just have time. These front few runners in this pack. What's Mateus done? Nothing massively impressive so far. Personal best Sector 2, but nothing amazing in Sector 1. Car 93, Jean-Paul Seaman, who's in P16 at the moment, has just done a purple Sector 2. So let's see what he can do when he gets to the line. Interesting to see if he had a tow down the back stretch. That could have helped him out significantly there. Mateus on the run down to the line. What's he going to do?
Seaman goes P2, Wisdom goes P3. It is all topsy-turvy here in the Anti-Stall Racing IMSA series.
We
thought in the pre-season Wisdom was going to run away with it, and it appears he's got stiff competition this time round.
Yeah, Balaz, no one can touch him at the moment. 3.3 tenths clear of P2 and 4 tenths clear of P3. Anyone else out there setting quick lap times? Not at the moment. Oh, saying that, Seaman is one of Mateus' teammates. Can see that from the livery on the car. So potential is clearly there in the car. Looks like they maybe maxed out the potential of the setup they're running, considering they're both pretty close to each other now. It's going to be interesting to see if they can use that to their advantage in the race. Maybe fuel save together, or one car fuel save, one car go full out. It is very close on the fuel here. We've seen people do it before in the Anti-Stall Racing IMSA series. Try and make it on one stop here instead of two. 2 stops is encouraged by the fuel tank size, but it is possible with the right amount of saving to do it on one. We've seen people pull over before the line and not make the checkered flag, which is absolutely tragic to see. But it will be interesting to see what we can do. Mateus is green and green. Can he improve to anything significant? He's on the run down to the line now.
It's a yellow final sector. It will be an improvement. It will put him on that front row, but it will not be enough to take pole.
2,000 separating the teammates, but like you say, Tarosky, P1, still 3 tenths clear of P2. And Mateus pulls off. That's qualifying over for him.
Final few seconds. See if anyone has anything left in the tank, but I believe... Yep, there's the checkered flag. So everyone finishing up here. I believe Jean-Paul Seaman did not take the checkered. Nope, he looks like he's pulled over.
Also pulled over. Alvaro, one of the last cars out there, who set a green sector. Currently P5, yellow in sector 2, though.
He needs about 1400ths to move up into P4. 1200ths even. Maths is easy, I swear.
Just noticed as well, P7, around. P8, and P6, all on exactly identical lap times. Absolutely incredible to
Just how close it
see.
is.
Yeah. What can Alvaro do? He's green in sector 2. Is that going to move him up?
No.
Don't believe so. Fortunate for Alvaro, 1/10th off his previous lap time. So still would have been good enough for P5. But unfortunate for him to see he didn't improve any further than that.
A lot of yellow on the timing tower does mean as much as someone could just have a miracle last sector, I do believe that we're unlikely to see any movement. So I'm going to call it as it stands. Last Taroxy, P1 in his first race for the Anstall Racing IMSA series. Incredible debut performance from them. But yeah, Wishton, he's got his work cut out for him this time around. He's going to have to go from second and see if he can make something happen in turn 1. But it's a very promising start to the season, certainly.
You have it. Close, though, if we look at it in real terms. I know it's a big gap from P1 to P2, but then everyone down to P10 within 8.5 tenths of each other. That's going to be mega racing in this class.
Currently waiting for the... Yep, so we only have the 5-minute warm-up session, just so everyone can get their race setups loaded, just have some final checks on the car, make sure they're good, make sure they've taken the full fuel tank, because I know a few people who have loaded up quali setups in actual races, and fortunately, I was doing it in a series where you have to take a full fuel tank, so I don't need to worry about that, but you don't want to be pitting on lap 2. You can avoid it.
Apologies, everybody. Still getting used to streaming for the first time in a while. I think we will be able to...
2 years, I believe it is, you said?
2 years, yeah. Long time. Used to broadcast F1 2021 when we used to do that. Commentated on that for a little bit. Broadcasted some of when we used to do a rookie series that used all free content. Broadcasted that a couple of times. Once commentated on that from my laptop in a... when I was on holiday because we were absolutely desperate for somebody. And since then I've popped in once or twice to cover. But unfortunately, Paolo, who broadcasted IMSA for us for the last several seasons, had a shift change at work and can't do Thursday evenings anymore. But we'll be here on Tuesday evenings. Nothing confirmed for Tuesday evenings, but we are definitely looking at perhaps a more relaxed, more fun series, potentially in the new Super Formula Light, which is incredibly fun. If you haven't checked that out, guys, go drive that car and keep your eye on the Discord. We may be throwing that up soon for a little more fun series, maybe with a bit of rain mixed in as well.
Oh, no. No, I have done 20 minutes of rain practice. I made the mistake of thinking the baseline wet setup that is available for the Porsche 963 hypercar was actually a proper setup and not just one that happens to pass tech. So my experience was not good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to go for a break very quickly, and we'll see you before the start of the race. All right, welcome back, everybody. Qualifying results here for GTP. We'll start going through these. It's still warm-up, but let's cover these while we're here. A lot of cars to go through. This is the top 10 in GTP. Blas P1, 3 tenths clear of Mateus, the usual dominator, so he'll be out there with a vengeance. But we've got Jean-Paul Simon behind him, only 2,000ths off of Mateus' time. They are teammates. I know it says privateer, but he's here with Dutch League Racing as well. Alex are also Dutch League Racing. So that is going to be difficult to see how Blas can handle the three teammates behind him. Alvaro returning to the series in P5. Albert Pre in P6. Franco Vale also returning. Great to see so many names here again. P7. Danny Hugendorn is in P8. Quinton Verdonk, new to the series, P9. And Patrick, also from Magic Arrows, his teammate on pole position is P10. Let's go through GT3 as well while we're here. See if we can get it up. Pole position. I know we're only seeing the top 10 at the moment, but we will go over the full grid later on. So, Casper, P1. Daniel, P2. Daniel also P3, different Daniel though, to be clear. Dutch League Racing on pole in GT3. Couldn't quite manage it in Hypercar GTP, but they managed it in GT3. Always good to see representation in both classes. Daniel Moore P2, only by 0.04 of a second, as we said in qualifying. Absolutely incredibly close in GT3. Daniel Maggioni from Absolute Motorsport with Asalif, 2.5 tenths off of pole, so not a bad showing from them either. His teammate Matea in P3, only 0.04 off the time of Daniel. We've got Ignis P5, 3.5 tenths off pole position. Cohen P6, Emre P7, another Magic Arrow car there with Cohen in P6. Then we've got Adam Jarvis in P8, one of the only British drivers I've seen on the grid. Alvaro P9, Samir in P10. And I've no idea what has just happened there.
I believe we call the overlays having a bit of a moment.
I will take this new grid thing that we've got showing. Not quite sure how I get this to change page, so. But there you have it.
Here's your top 8 anyway for the GTP field, whilst Trossi will lead them to the green flag alongside Mateus Widgeton. John-Paul Seaman and Alex Ott will take the row behind. Then we have Priem, Avale, Hugendorn and Velas Zvilvasi. And that is going to be your GTP field. Remember, we do have the class split start. Slight issue I see right now. I believe Yuri Pluim has joined the session late, is currently 17th, but you'll see in the far right of your shot there, there's a hypercar in the back of the GT3 field.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let's just hope Race Control sort that out. I was going to jump in there and try and get them to take a look. But yeah, late joiner, so didn't go out in qualifying at all. So for some reason, has been shuffled to the back of the grid. I think that might be a session detail in iRacing that needs to be amended to make sure that the classes definitely all start together. I'm sure Race Control will have it clear with him what he needs to do.
Please don't bully the GT3s too hard. It wouldn't be my ruling. Either way, the GTP field will round the final corner. The safety car will come in. And we are going to go racing at Fuji Speedway.
First time in a couple of seasons that we've not said Mateus is leading from pole, or that I can remember anyway. Balas is going to lead the grid into turn 1, surrounded by Dutch League Racing cars, though. That must be intimidating. I think he'll leave it as late as possible. You don't want to tow cars down into turn 1 around Fuji Speedway. Looks like he's gone.
He's off.
Made the jump a little bit. Mateus has been jumped by his teammate. We're going to have 3 wide at Dutch League Racing into turn 1, but Balas is going to be clear. So what are the teammates going to do? Do they play it safe? Let's not have contact. First race, guys. It wouldn't be good, would it? They're not giving each other much room, though. They're all through. Jean-Paul is going to come out P2. Mateus currently P3. Alex Ott P4. So they're running cleanly. All clean in GTP. GT3 on the run to the line now. Apparently. There we go. They've gone. And Dutch League Racing maintains the lead in this class. Casper leading away from Daniel. But Daniel got jumped on the start, but he's got a good toe here down into turn 1. Can he go all the way around the outside and make it work in the BMW? Sole BMW in the field. No, he can't. He's going to cut back. Can he get back? No, he's surrounded by the Asilov cars at the moment. Lots of close racing in GT3. Through turn 1. Through turn 3, field goes.
The very scary part, because obviously you're in the low downforce. In the wake of the car behind, you're going to be so much lighter through that section. It's very easy to slip a tyre and find yourself going off track. As the GTP field rounds turn 15, too wide in the middle of the field. Somehow they all get it together, though. And they'll continue driving in full pack. Incident being investigated GTP field.
Let's take a look at that.
No one massively taken off, but...
Take a look at that. There was a 4X between these two. Oh, was that a little touch out on the way in? I think that's what it was, or maybe a little touch on the exit. Interesting to see that. Race control have now called that no action. But they're still racing into turn 1 as we go back to live images.
It's the old adage. Rubbing is racing, and by God, they are racing here right now.
So Robin chasing down one of the Dutch League racing cars in front of him. That's Daniel van der Vacker. Not quite as quick as his other teammates, but is in AM, so doing well right now.
Currently 3rd place in category. So they are 2 wide in front of him. It's always very scary when you see that. Just because you're behind, you want to know where these cars are going to end up after the corner.
Whoa, big send!
Attempts!
Running very deep there, nearly took out.
Vacker's not going to be happy about that one. That came from so far back.
Interesting to see.
Together, but not without contact.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting to see Robin coming on to the radio to ask race control to look at the braking. I wonder if he thinks that maybe he was brake tested a little bit into there, but it seems unlikely that you would be pulling any moves like that, particularly on what is only lap 2 of the race.
It would be a hard overtake to make into turn 10, but it is like one of the best braking zones, so I guess it is one of your best opportunities.
It's cost Robin overall, though. He's dropped back a little bit here.
He wouldn't surprise me to hear he's got damage of some variety. He did get full frontal impacts, the front lefts of his car into the side of the car he was chasing, so maybe a little bit of aero damage that would perhaps impact his top speed going down that massive front stretch of Fuji. On board with the donk as he chases Silvasi.
P2 in class at the moment. But unfortunately, Alvaro, P1, 2.5 seconds up the road because he's got some pro cars behind him.
As we were saying earlier, this is the advantage of having that better qualifying in the overall class, in that you can just sort of put cars between you and the cars you're actually racing. And give everybody a hard time trying to chase you.
Super close at the front of GTP still.
Wishing fallen back a smidge, just outside of seconds, to his teammate Jean-Paul Seaman, who is still close to the back end of Tarowski, but not quite there right now.
On board. On board. Let's go around the track with Daniel, close to the car in front, but also has the other Daniel Maggioni, right behind him in this battle for GT3 Pro lead. Great to see good fighting in GT3 Pro. We've had a couple of dominating drivers the last couple of seasons, but it's nice to see a bit more competition at the sharp end. No one's driving away, and that tends to be the case in all classes, actually. GTP Alvaro has pulled away a little bit, but mainly it looks like because he's got those cars in between him, which, like we said, is so crucial. Just gives you a bit more buffer, especially as they approach the traffic, which they are doing now. Important to note that. Got another driver coming on the radio asking race control to look at an incident. Nothing showing up on the incident race log at the moment, but we'll see what race control comes back with. They might put something under investigation. If they do, we'll let you know. It will pop up at the top of the screen, but we're keeping an eye on it as well here in the booth.
Just a bit of bookkeeping. The 41 of Jure Pluim did take a pit lane start in the end. Currently has lapped up to catch up to the back of the GT3 field. Very shortly, he's going to be joined by the main GTP field, who are currently clearing a few back markers in the GT3s.
John Paul really close. It's going to be interesting. On the run down into turn 1, we're going to have a fight for the lead in GTP with GT3s in between it.
This is the last thing you want as a GT3 driver, especially because these GTPs can be very aggressive while trying to make moves, and if they're trying to do something behind you, it can very quickly end up as something on top of you, and it can end in disaster.
And John Paul not leaving anything on the road, tucking up behind every GT3 to get that toe that he needs to maintain that gap. Great under braking here. He's going to get right outside in contact for the lead. Both cars off. Big hit. Slowing down behind the GT3s. Massive, massive contact. Let's take a look what happened there. It looks like
he was just got checked up by the GT3 in front.
That's exactly what it looks like. No. That is going to be straight under investigation by race control. Ballas has a meatball. Did he have further contact afterwards? Because that flag is going to put him in the pit lane for repairs. One fast repair for every car in the race, so they'll be able to use that to get back out quickly. Let's have a look what happened to Ballas and how he got that meatball. Into the corner, checks up behind the GT3, gets hit from behind. Is that all it was? Did that break a toe link or something?
I could fully well believe it. It was a full speed impact there.
Yeah, you can see him wiggling the wheels. Something is not right on that car. Let's take one more look at it from the gearbox of Ballas. Yeah, just... Oh, that is extremely unfortunate. Looks like Seaman just didn't see the GT3 in front. And there's a 5-second time penalty for car 55. I don't believe that's for this incident. That's for something else.
That's car 9. Car 9. We have no in-game audio, by the way, apparently.
We do. It's probably just very quiet. I can try turning it up a little bit.
Still on the back of Tarossi.
Interesting.
Feel currently trying to move forwards here.
Just try and get you guys a bit more game audio, bear with.
Oh, a bit of drama in the back of the field there. I'm not sure what... do I have audio on Discord? I don't have any audio coming through Discord, so I don't know if there's an issue there, but...
No, that seems likely. Let's see if we get the game audio back. A question mark. If someone could let us know in the comments if it's back. I believe it should be. Nothing yet at all. Kevin...
I got radio there. Oh, no, but I've got radio from my in-game that I've got open to have my timing screen. So yeah, that massive pileup we saw earlier apparently involved Widgeton. I didn't see him get involved in that, but that is under investigation by race control. Or it might be a separate incident. But Widgeton... we were making a great big song and dance before as to how Widgeton's got challenges this time. His competition has self-removed, and now he finds himself 5 seconds ahead of the field. Gutierrez getting on the radio as well. There's now a few cars coming clear of the GT3 pack finally.
Apologies everyone, trying to fix this. Weirdly, it says we have audio in OBS, but clearly it isn't coming through to you guys.
Are you exporting it to the right channels?
Yeah.
As the 93, Jean-Paul Seaman has been awarded a 10-second time penalty, excuse me.
Please, left 5 with car number 22.
Justin continues to have his run on the field. Priam now 5.6 seconds behind, and yeah, Wishin once again pulling away. Elsewhere in the field, Casper Umland still has the lead of the GT3s for now, but that top three still fairly close together. So any direction.
Okay, looks like we've got audio now. Apologies for that, everybody.
Yep, we have confirmation. As another incident being investigated between Carlos Ponce and Paulo Antinori.
This is a replay of that incident. Oh, hits the back of the GT3. Probably broke a toe link there as well.
That's a rough one, because I think I can see the line, because Carlos was trying to signal, yes, I'm going to go to your outside, but the GT3 does want to naturally wash out there. And he just ends up tagging the back, and that's just clumsy. That's just a loss of cars trying to go into a space that doesn't exist. You can see they all try to get behind the GT3, but there's only one line through that section of track.
Take another look at it. Oh, another incident there. Involving two cars from the same team there as well, I believe. Let's take a look one more time. Oh no, different car. Oh,
yeah,
unfortunate.
It just happens in front. It just ends up on his lap, and there's
no
nothing you can do at
chance.
that point.
Absolutely no chance. That is extremely unfortunate.
I'm beginning to get the feeling Fuji might not have been designed with multi-class racing in mind.
Oh,
but even in a single
another
class,
incident. Big incident there. Big whack into the wall.
Gutierrez, that's getting a toe, brother. You are not hauling that back to the pit lane as it is.
He did. He got it back to the pit lane. Let's have one more look. GT3 comes on. Is there contact there between the two hypercars? Looks like there might be. That's under investigation now by race control. We'll see what they come back with. It does look like, yeah, he dragged it all the way back to the pit lane.
Gutierrez is a braver driver than I, certainly. Taking the...
No front left tyre, gets it through the runoff tyre barrier. Absolutely incredible skill there from Alvaro. I would have been straight into the barrier.
He might be suffering in terms of overall finish for this race, but he is a better driver than I am. I will tell you that for a fact. Oh, fantastic stuff.
Okay, close battles in GTP Pro. Mateus sped off in the lead. Not the way we expected, but he has done it. But right now, the battle is for P3. This is the fight for the podium. Juanto Avale is currently P3. Patrick behind, followed by Danny, followed by Alex. All three cars very close to each other, with a couple of AMs slotted in between.
And I will say, Alex obviously had that incident that ended up on his front. He might be down on maximum velocity perhaps, but the damage is clearly good enough that he can carry on, and he's going to have to take a pit stop. We presume 2 pit stops in this race. The fuel tank obviously limited to try and facilitate that, but he'll definitely need at least one so he can perhaps take a repair, get that damage fixed up and get back up to full momentum, but currently hanging on quite nicely.
Race control putting more incidents under investigation. They put a few more. They called that big incident that saw, I think it was Juanto in the wall. Might be wrong there. No, it wasn't. It was Alvaro in the wall. That big incident was called a racing incident. We've got another incident under investigation. Although when I'm clicking it, it's taking us to the same link. This is racing incident as well. And this was also called racing incident that we saw. Just a very unfortunate little tap from the GT. Probably would have been fine if the hypercars weren't so close behind.
Yeah, I didn't look over his contact there. It looked like Kelvin got a little bit squirrely, trying to get it into the corner, not able to take the full racing line, and unfortunate where he ended up. So we see Hugandorn chasing down Zvalasi. Currently just 0.3 between them, but they are right on the rear of presumably some AM drivers.
That's an AM car directly in front. It is indeed Davy van der Wacker right in front of Danny Hugandorn. to watch along, Patrick. This is the battle for P3 in GT3 Pro now, with an AM seemingly, or perhaps a lapped car. Not quite sure who that is in this battle. Let's have a quick look.
Surely that's a valet in front of him then, if that's Lassie.
It is, yes. That is correct. Who is it behind, though? Oh, that is Dan. Okay, sorry. I'm just talking complete waffle. This is a battle. Oh, big jump over the curb there for the GT3. That's Jess Perry.
Giving the space to the GTPs, which you can respect, but you do need to watch out for your own car as well. They don't like taking that bump, I can tell you from experience. Vaca chasing Hugendorn at the back of this pack then.
Vaca currently P5 overall, P1 in class, but running P5 overall. Impressive run from him, considering he's in the AM class.
Sebastian van der Hoeven was in the last season, excuse me, had a complete run of the field on the AMs by just essentially mixing it up with the pros all the time. I'm getting similar vibes from Vaca right now, I will say.
Yeah, also important to note, he's got teammates in the pro, so they will be able to help him out occasionally. Give him a little bit of a tow when it's needed. Stuff like that will help him in that fight. So can't complain about having teammates in the class above you, especially if they're going to be more willing to perhaps defend, which is of course completely allowed within the GTB class. You are allowed to battle anybody, they don't have to be an AM or pro. So we might have teammates perhaps putting up a bit more of a fight where necessary to help him out in this championship challenge, and he's mounting extremely successfully very early on.
5-second time penalty for the 64 car of...
So this incident that we're about to see.
1 minute.
I believe. Doesn't look like incident. Here we go.
Nope, there. This looks like a replay. This looks
into
like
the back in the braking zone.
Yeah, that's an easy slam dunk.
Looks like mostly got away with it. But yeah, penalty is appropriate. Hit another car in the braking zone because you weren't seemingly paying proper attention. That's what you'll get.
One of those where you just don't expect the car in front of you to slow down as much, but they have control of the corner. They can pick their braking point, and if they pick one earlier than yours, then you better start braking earlier as well, unfortunately. Verdonk chasing. That's not Vaca in front of him.
No, it's not. Who is that in front of him? That's Jean-Paul Seaman in pro. Trying to make up the ground that he lost from the incident at the start. Putting in some good laps at the moment, quicker than the leader last time round. So he's not giving up easy. 10-second time penalty at the moment for driving into the back of Balas on, well, early on in the race. Can't quite recall what lap it was on, but he's got a 10-second time penalty. Climbing up the order very quickly though at the moment. Let's go on board with GC3. Daniel chasing down the lead again. That's good. Let's watch from here.
On my end, sorry.
That's all right. Daniel chasing down for the lead with the other Daniel. Feel like this is going to be a little bit of a theme. Let's go with surnames. Morpy chasing Ummerland, for P1 with Maggioni right behind him. A second separates the top three.
They've been pretty close this entire time, but it's looking like it's fairly hard to make a move at this distance. You don't want to send it from this far back. You just end up getting turned in on.
Looks like the play here from Morpy. Maybe we'll watch him in to turn one as well, but it looks like he's lifting a little bit there, saving the fuel. Then he'll be able to cut. He'll be able to have a much shorter stop in the pit lane than Casper will, which will mean he's able to come out ahead.
20 minutes of tip
big
over,
list,
so the pit
big
window,
list. We can see the big list here.
Pit window is starting to open for these drivers. They've sort of come in around the 22 to 24 minute mark. Obviously, if you split the race perfectly, you'll be coming in now, but you want that last stop to just take as little fuel as you can get away with. A bit of weaving going on there from Rummeland, trying to break the toe, trying to stop Morpy having as much advantage perhaps, but...
He's gaining under the toe a lot though.
Yes.
This is why he's able...
The toe would be this powerful.
I think this is why he's able to save... Look, see, already lifting. This is why he's able to save so much in the braking zone. It's another incident under investigation. What is that? We've missed that.
That is a lot of numbers.
It is indeed. Let's take a look. Oh, is he going to get tagged by GTP? He is. That is a interesting way to go for an overtake. Let's put it that way. Lots going on there. Lots of assurance to look at. And it forces one of the hypercars into the runoff zone. Did he make it through the tyre barrier? Yes, he did. Emerges ahead of Brian. That will be under investigation by the steward. Let's see what they think of that. They will not take kindly to hypercars going off the track to overtake GT3s and forcing them to take avoiding action.
This is a dramatic dive as we go back to our 3A dance for the leads. This is going to be ones that won't... This will be really exciting in 35 minutes, I should say. We're in the final stretch, and then we figure out who's actually got the advantage and everyone's sorted out. Because right now, this is clearly a fuel game being played, where everyone's just trying to make the best number they can for that final pit stop.
Be interesting. Massive saves from Morpy. Not sure. Let's go on board with Daniel this time round. See what he's able to save. But be interesting to see if any of these guys try for just one pit stop. We've seen it done here before. Similar fuel tanks to what we had last time round. A couple of percentage difference. Can't remember which way it went. Turns on the wiper. Daniel on the straight. Clearly got a bit of muck from following these cars behind. Does work to clear the rubber off your screen, not just the rain. He is able to close up in turn one. Not as big a lift or as noticeable big a lift as what Morpy was able to do in front of him. Perhaps a BMW is just a little bit slicker in a straight line, so he's able to close up more early on and then lift off sooner. Closely.
No one really has the potential to make an overtake as they just get passed by a stream of GTPs. Oh, there's more coming. This is possibly... No, the second worst corner, I would say. I'd say turn 10 is definitely the worst place to be trying to make moves like that happen, but... Valet holding on position right now. Has Silvassi, excuse me, hounding him for position right now. Hugendorn behind as Van der Wacker still between the four of them, excuse me.
Van der Wacker clearly showing early on in the season, I'm not going to get out the way of a pro. I don't care who you're racing. I'm racing everybody here, which is an important marker to throw down because he's not going to get bullied off the track.
And because he's got this toe as well, he can continue to make these good lap times. But if he's able to hang with them through the technical sections, the straights become so much simpler to just keep those lap times up as well.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, move for the lead. Not for the lead, apologies, but move for position. And we've lost it. Apologies. There we go.
Yep. Silvassi still trying to find the way around.
Close racing here. Both in the accurate, both strong in the same areas. He's closing up. He's going all the way around the outside. Can he make it stick into the braking zone? Yes, he is. He's already clear. Impressive move, but he fights back.
It will slide up in front, but potential for a switch back. No,
Varley's not giving up, but he's going to get in the toe here in the run into the chicane. What can he do? Can he go for a late move? No, he can't. He stays tucked up behind. That is a position change.
Silvassi freed up then. Needs to, well, has a few corners to make up the distance to Avale behind now, but if he doesn't do it soon, he's going to have a massive straight, and Avale's going to have a run back, and he might try and resend it. There's certainly built a buffer in those few corners, I will say.
Yeah, a couple of tenths, 3 tenths of a second. Oh, a little bit wide in the final corner. Can Avale use that to his advantage? Well, Patrick feels the need to go defensive. He's done one move. That's all he's allowed to do. Race control will be keeping an eye on that all season long. We've had incidents before because people have made multiple moves, being stricter on it than we have been before. Gives him a flash of the lights from Avale, but not able to stay close, and that's a big moment for Zlivasi. He can now focus on the road ahead and pulling away from the car behind.
It's not quite broken the toe altogether, but obviously the further you are away, the weaker it gets. And even through this technical sector, that gap just increases and increases, and it feels like Zlivasi might have been saving a little bit in the tank in terms of overall pace. A few cars coming into pit lane now, as this is about where you'd make the normal stop if you're going for a two-stop strategy. You need to go a little longer if you want to make it on one.
Let's see what the GT3s do. 26 minutes. Like you said, this is the two-stop window. Can anybody make it to that crucial half an hour mark? Short, it's not a full formation lap here. We started on the back stretch, so we were very quick to getting starting. Not much fuel would have been used on that formation lap, so that won't really need to be taken into consideration. If you can make half an hour or make just before half an hour, you might think, I can save more next time.
See if anyone's staying out the 16 of Jessica Perry, who's already come in for service.
A lot of pro cars in GTP in the pit lane.
Avali and Hugendorn have stayed out that time. Seaman comes in. And again, this is definitely too early to make it on one stop. If he's used his full fuel tank, which I'm going on assumption he has, it's going to be a splash and dash at the end, but he will need to make that second stop.
Any of these cars make up positions in the pit lane. Important moment here. Casper Umalon in the pit lane, as is Daniel Maggioni, after 27 minutes of race time. But Daniel Morphy stays out 1 minute 40 for a GT3 lap time. So won't quite make the half an hour on this lap, but maybe he thinks he can save a little bit more next time. You will save massive amounts of time by not pitting here. Such a long pit lane on such a long straight that is going to cost you dearly in time to stay on there. He can lose a lot of time on one lap and still not lose any positions by saving that pit stop worth of time.
I mean, we saw how much he was lifting and coasting in the early stages of the race, where he was just able to make up so much time by...
we had a 4X in the pit lane here with Casper Umelin, and Daniel Maggioni runs into the back of him.
That's... one of those drivers was not on the pit limiter, I don't believe, and I don't know which one, but I'm guessing it's the one that sped up.
I'm going to go with the same. He got a meatball for his troubles as well. Not sure why he's not used his fast repair, though. Let's just wind that back.
If you pit and it's not ticked, you can't redo it.
Interesting. Apologies here, having some replay. Can't see the incident. There we go.
Oh, here we go.
No, not on the pit limiter. He was not on the pit limiter. What on earth happened there?
Pit limiter problem.
Pit limiter problem, he says on the radio. It's like the button didn't bind or something. That is so unfortunate.
Yeah, it's straight under investigation by race control.
That is one of the most bizarre incidents we've seen in a long time.
Race control, please check the rejoin.
It's been a wild race, certainly. There's been no rain, but...
Also to note, Danny Hugendorn in Pro Class got a black flag while entering the pit lane. He either had an unsafe pit entry. Let's take a look. I imagine it's going to be an unsafe pit entry. Yeah, crossing the line a lot there. It's easy to get it here.
So the yellow cone is the pit's entry speed.
Let's go on board.
Fine there.
See what happened. Apologies, let's do that one more time. Except it's going to keep going to that view. Love it. You love it.
Yeah, I think that might have been speeding on entry.
I
Just
have no
looked from the
luck
onboard,
with
he was
this.
going
No.
there. I
Ooh,
think
yeah,
he's just
very
carrying a
quick.
little bit too much speed through. That is a very easy black flag for iRacing to throw at you.
It's extremely unfortunate to see. Morphy has now pitted. Back out on track, Daniel Morphy now leading the class after the unfortunate incidents for his racing rivals. And I can tell you right now, he left the pit lane at exactly 30 minutes and 0 seconds. So it looks like he can just make it with some big saving. And you have to say he's going to try it, surely.
It's definitely worth a gamble at this point. 30 minutes is a little longer than he did on the tank. He was in pit lane for 47 seconds on my end, but with the formation lap fuel burn as well, that
Yeah, a little bit
he'll
of...
need to save a little bit more than he did last time, but it won't be by much.
It's going to be
gonna
difficult.
close.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because he's not got the toe he had last time. So won't be able to lift and lose very little time like he maybe was last time round. Another incident being investigated there.
Over Beak and River.
Let's take a look. Oh, just a little spin and contact there.
That's going to be a fun one for race control. I don't know how I feel about that. You can see the space open up on the
Yeah.
inside and he just gets... But was there actually space there? That's the hard one.
Yeah, very, very difficult to tell. Totally
No
honest.
lasting
from
damage,
that
but a
view.
lot of time lost by Overbeak just trying to get the car turned around, given the unfortunate positioning of that barrier. I don't envy race control on that one.
Meatball flag here for Cohen.
Garrett's.
Cohen's had another incident, it looks like, later on in the lap. What on earth happened there? Oh, no!
It gets very messy beside him.
And a very unsafe
Contact.
rejoin. Race control will not be happy with that. Do not take kindly to that sort of thing at all.
But how does the meatball happen then? He gets squeezed.
He's going
He
to get
gets
squeezed
He
again
gets really
going into
squeezed.
the
He's on
pit
the
lane.
glass. He's still being squeezed.
Wow, it looks like they're both trying to get in the pit lane. Oh! You cannot do that, no!
Oh my lord.
Cohen will not be a happy man. The GT3 of Matteo there, I believe, or perhaps Anthony, unsure, trying to catch who that was. So there's two groups of incidents there. That was Anthony not letting him. He should have lifted off before he entered the pit lane. You can't force another car into the pit lane. That'll be at least a drive-through from race control. I would not be surprised if it's even a DSQ for driving like that. Is extremely unsafe. You cannot put another car. You cannot force another car into the pit lane.
That is...
That will probably result in a pit lane start for the next race as well. I would imagine. We'll see what race control think. But that was a absolutely spectacular incident.
I don't think I want to use the word spectacular, but yes, it was definitely an incident. Oh my word. 10 seconds for Carranza for an earlier unsafe rejoin. Presumably for this moment here.
Let's watch from on board with Cohen. So he gets contact there from, I believe that's still...
Carranza, yeah. Which I'm not sure what happened there. Is he, that's the rejoin.
Oh, apologies.
And then just...
Okay, so this is the first contact. Forces the other car off the road.
I think that's just cars getting stuck together on
and then
contact.
this is a 10-second time penalty for the unsafe rejoin.
Yes. That is a textbook unsafe rejoin. I think at this point he's damaged. He tries to go into the pit lane, but there's like... the spotter had better be telling him there's a car on his right, because there is.
That is so unfortunate. Big penalty will be coming there.
Oh.
Don't know if that's actually... It's not under investigation by race control just yet.
I have a feeling if it's not, you're going to be going to them about it. Either way, Morphy still leads Ermelin and Ubertali in the GT3 field. In the hypercars, it's Widgeton still in front of Ott and Tarowski, who's made a decent dent back in that overall time, I will say.
Just asking race control if they've had a look at that.
You're living at that, aren't you?
It's absolutely insane. If I was still in race control, he would be getting a hefty penalty for that sort of move. That's all I'm going to say.
Close on the back of Alex Ott on the timing screen.
Got someone commenting on the stream saying that Magic Arrow are not having a good night. No, they are not. Caught up in 2 incidents that seemingly are not their fault this race. Both their GT3 car that was having a pretty good race and their GTP car that was leading. Ballas, making up the time from that early incident, is going for a move on Alex Ott into turn 1.
That move was never on. That's just show them the bumper, see if they make the mistake. And to be fair, Ott did wash out a little bit there. Not a massive error, but a small one that just keeps this gap nice and tight.
A second quicker than Alex last time round from Ballas. He's not giving up easy. He's not going to let Mateus win this. If he can show he can have that early contact and still fight for the win, that is throwing on a big mark. A little bit of a wiggle on entry there. There you go, race control, putting that incident under investigation.
So I will say, Ballas had come in on lap 8 versus lap 20 for Widgeton. So obviously with the early incident, they'll be on offset strategies, but I think given the fuel tank window for these cars, Ballas very much on for a normal 2-stop from where he pitted. Has lost the back of Ott just due to the aero wash, the dirty air you get through that really slow technical sector.
Is Ballas coming in?
Offsets again. He might.
Ballas was offset on pit stops, wasn't he? Because he's
Yes.
only done 1 pit stop. That's why he's moved up the order. There we go. He's in for his second pit stop now. But remember, all these other cars are still going to have to do another pit stop. Yeah, I reckon he can make this from here.
No, he definitely can make it. I'm just trying to think how long his pit stop's going to be, because they'll be limited on fuel.
I think it's going to be taking up
It'll be
full tank.
Basically, it'll be most of a tank, yeah. And meanwhile, the rest of the GT field will only need a splash and dash at the end. See, Ballas just angling the car in his pit stop, so when he puts his foot down, he qualified on P1, that means he gets the P1 pit box, and that means it's just a straight dash out the pit lane from here.
Robin Duhamel fighting for the lead in GTP AMP.
All the support Wacker had in terms of drafting buddies has gone away from now into straight fights.
His teammates in GT3 haven't had the best day, but he's showing strong for the Dracone Racing Team. GTP, there you go. Drive through for dangerous driving at pit entry for Anthony Quintaro. I think we all expected to see that coming.
But Duhamel chasing down Wacker. What was a massive lead for the GTPM leader has gone into nothing over the pit cycle. Just 1 lap offset, but Duhamel's pitted earlier and come out in a really good place for it. And is now chasing down his category leader. But even with the draft is falling back a bit.
Yeah, it looks like the Porsche doesn't have the straight line speed over the Acura, which is not what you want to see if you've chosen the Porsche. The Acura is supposed to be, you know, gripping up very well in the corners, a lot of front end turns in, bites very well into the surface of the track and does what you ask it. But you expect with that extra grip comes a loss of top line speed, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Through the sort of sweeping corners, Robin seems to be a little bit quicker on the exit, which is typically the weakness of the Acura, although iRacing have adjusted the gear stack ratios on the Acura this season and given it a little bit more torque, so it's even gained there. So unfortunate for Robin to see that. He's dropped with more than a second behind now, and he gets a GT3 at just the wrong time. Gets out of the way fairly nicely though. He'll be thankful for that.
What I'm wondering is Robin Duhamel just running...
Oh, GT3 off.
That's a car sideways.
That?
So I'll finish my point. I think Robin Duhamel might just be running more rear wing, just on the way he was struggling on max speed. Jessica Perry goes all the way off into the grass.
Thought this was the spin we were about to see.
This is Postinson. This is the front stretch, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that one just didn't show up in iRacing for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, another one nearly.
It's like you say, you want to carry more speed through there. But there's just, unfortunately, sausage curves that make it an impossibility. And notice that was an earlier incident then.
That was an earlier incident.
Spin just not showing.
Yeah, spin not showing on iRace Control. Possibly, Jess is not as quick as the other cars at the moment. It seems like a little bit off the back. But we've seen drivers that are maybe a little bit off the pace, but just consistently finishing, consistently scoring points, still able to get themselves into the prize positions by the end of the season. And we've seen other drivers come through the series with great development who've been with us since season 1 of this series, so over a year ago now, and they've still been able to show us that they can improve, they can get better by driving and being out on track with these quicker drivers. You learn a lot. It's a great environment to be in. On that point, still a couple of seats open, so if anybody does want to get involved, head over to the website linked in the description to purchase your GTP or GT3 seats, and you'll get allocated into AM or Pro depending on your I rating. Looks like there's been another...
Polly isn't helping her day, is like, oh, more incidents.
Oh, that's
just
unfortunate.
A messy contact for Lemery trying to go around the outside. You squeeze the car on the inside to the apex, they have to go somewhere. That's a weird one from that camera angle, certainly. Obertis.
Still fighting. These two cars.
Oh, good wide exit from Dennis. Trying to take the outside, but unfortunately doesn't have the pace in the car to make that work.
Oh, late send.
Dived by GTP Field. That's the confidence move you have to make, because otherwise you are stuck behind GT3s for so long in that section. And that's how we saw the earlier incident, where if you get checked up on the apex, there's a non-zero chance someone's going to have your rear bumper for lunch.
Particularly that corner, it's extremely painful in a GT3. It feels like you should be able to go quicker, but because of a lack of downforce on those cars, you just can't carry the speed through there. In the GTP, it's just a tap on the brakes and a lift and you're through there with the downforce that these things have. Oh, big incident here, we're seeing it live. GT3 maybe not giving enough room to the GTP there, but we've seen Patrick be aggressive. We'll see what race control think of that one. It was a 4X.
I think Silvassi just had the... You're catching up to cars that are trying to race for position, and if you're overtaking to the point where someone's trying to defend a position at the same time, it's going to get very spooky. Obviously, GT3s are required to enable the overtakes, but sometimes there's just no room on the inside to move to, or the outside, whichever edge of the corner it is, as Alex Ott comes into pit lane.
This is for his scheduled stop, I believe. Nothing else has happened in the last few laps for him. Nothing on his car log for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, based on the stint length, I would say this is scheduled.
I think he's just choosing to box now, get it out of the way.
His first stint was 11 laps, so this puts him in a pretty good position overall. He's definitely... everyone's good if they pit now to the end of the race.
You can see Daniel Morphy still leading. 0 incident points. Impressive when you're leading your class.
0 incidents, and still the holdout for the one stopper still has a decent lead over Ummerlin, who's not been able to close up the gap if Wolpe is trying to force this one stop. He'll need to save, again, a decent amount of fuel. It was 17 laps to the first, and he'll probably need to go a little longer on the second if he's going to make it, but still has the P1 for now.
Yeah, let's see what he can do in this stint. He's not had the same level of tow that he had last time around, so that will definitely be impacting what he can do. Be interesting to see. Why don't we ride on board with him for a lap, in fact, and see what he's doing fuel saving wise. Still looks like he's taking it pretty slow though. Pretty big lift, yeah, coasting it through the corner. Maybe he is trying to make this one stop go. I mean, it'd be impressive if without any tow this entire stint he's able to make it work.
You can get a little bit on the straights from GTPs, obviously, if they pass you, which can help get you there. But obviously, without just a consistent GT3 in front of you pushing for lap time, the effect is limited.
And of course, we did know that the BMW seems to be quicker than the Audi behind him on the straight, so perhaps he's able to claw back the time in the corners and on the straight, and then still have the big lifts on the ends of the straights.
Investigation between Batiste and Lemeray.
We've already seen that one just being declared a racing incident.
Fair enough.
Have we seen this one? We have. This is also under investigation by
race
race control.
Where, yeah, there's a car. I don't know if he's. Oh, is he on the?
It's a bit of 3 into 1 doesn't go. I think.
Oh, so I don't know. Ooh, this is some field of view. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Is that, yeah, was that the incident?
That was the
so
incident.
I don't think he had plenty of space on the left then.
It's really bizarre.
So I don't know if the hypercar is just going into a space that doesn't exist yet, and Overbeek is thinking he'll stay behind.
Yeah, very possibly. It seemed like almost a little bit of 3 into 1 doesn't go. I don't know if the Porsche couldn't pull out because it looked like the red Mercedes was perhaps slightly still alongside him. But either way,
yeah, that's what my initial thoughts were. Either way, a weird incident.
race control have got a lot of different angles that they'll look at. Another incident. Let's have a look what happened here.
Antonori is going to catch the back of a field and just stack up into them, and the GTP will stack into the back of him. It's an unfortunate situation.
Yeah,
unless something else happens, unless something goes really wrong on this POV, I'm willing to call that a racing incident.
Just a little tap, that's
personally.
It. Yeah, nothing major there.
It's like everyone stacks up for that corner. You know, everyone's getting on the brakes a little bit harder than the car in front of them, just to not hit them, and eventually someone runs out of room to brake in.
Lass not giving up easy, is he? Still on this fight back. Over a second quicker again than the leader last time round. And 3 seconds quicker than the 2 cars in front of him last time round. He's still in this fight.
Push. When did Teresi pit? Lap 26. So I believe he should be good to the end, yes. And I don't think the rest of the field is. So this could actually be very close to the end of the race, but he is closing down the gap rapidly anyway, even without the pit stop slot. Slovasi comes in for air stop. They'll come in out with 10 minutes left to go, but they'll be done for service for the day. They will go up positions in the pit lane while doing so.
So Ballas, of the car that's pitted, of the cars that had pitted, there we go, we can see the stops. Currently P2 of the cars that are pitted. So, provided he can make it to the end.
Alex Ott.
Exactly, and we think he can make it to the end. That lap time that he's doing at the moment can very well put him in the fight for the lead. But he does need to make some moves on these cars in front. He was 3 seconds quicker than them a couple of laps ago, and now he's stuck behind them. We see them going off in front, trying to get around the GT3.
They're tripping over themselves, trying to get through each other.
And here he is. He's going for it into the chicane.
Dive.
Can he clear the car?
No, because you're side by side into 10 and there's just
Oh,
no
and contact.
He's going to bully his way out.
Looks like
Turn
just a little bit
12.
of rubbing. He's still fighting
And more
back.
to come.
Alex Ott not going to give this up easy. In fact, that's not even Alex Ott. That is...
No.
Is it? I'm not sure. Let's have a look. I'm just not sure what's happened there.
Ronek, I think. Daniel Ronek, the one I want.
Yes, it is. Daniel Renek in AM is not giving this up.
I respect that.
That's why we
a lot,
couldn't work
actually.
out who it was. That is great racing. He's not going to be bullied either. And he's going defensive. Comes back onto the line into turn 1 brake. Extends a little bit into the braking zone. Carries the line. And that's one more down for Balas.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say Balas might be faster overall, but Ronek can definitely keep it close. And if he can do that, he gets the benefit of this toe down the front stretch, and that will negate some of that, and that'll keep the AM driver's overall time quite nice on the hunt down for Wacker, Duhamel, and Diaz, who are your top 3 in the category.
Absolutely. So now 1.9 seconds to the 2-stop leader at the moment, which is Alex Ott. Can he catch Alex before the other drivers come into the pits? Because that's going to be crucial. If he can pass and clear Alex in the next couple of laps, which his lap time suggests he may very well be able to do, he's going to be in a great position when the other guys come into pit.
So to give the old adage, catching is one thing and passing is another. You're seeing how difficult some of the traffic can be to navigate in this race. So it'll be a case of, if you get there, you need to get past as soon as you can, because otherwise a GT3 or a slower GTP is going to come along and make your life miserable. Especially if you catch the wrong time. But this is the right time. This huge front stretch, which allows passing the GT3 for Ott, and
like
then Rossi.
Daniel Renek into the pits. So that is another pitter in GTP AM. We say AM. Some of these guys are incredibly highly rated. Yeah. So David Avaca is in AM 3.4 KI rating. So these guys aren't slow. Just these guys in Pro are very, very quick.
Just gonna go for the dive into turn 3, because you need to make that move. You don't want to be stuck behind the GT3 as we've seen before. We'll sling it around the outside of the 46. And the gap's still there for Ott, but it looks to be just shrinking slowly and slowly, even with all these unfortunate timings in the GT3s for the purple-clad hypercar.
Just able to keep it tighter through the corners. The last is very impressive. Just looks to have more grip. Every time we go into a braking zone or a traction zone, he seems to just be able to pull ahead a little bit. Well, not pull ahead, but you know what I mean. Close that gap to the car ahead. It's about where he was this time last lap, though.
Lane. Leader of the GTP Anfields come in. That's as Daniel Morphy, who was second place. Oh no, he was first. No, that's Morphy tapping out of the one-stop strategy.
That's unfortunate to see. He's going to have a very short pit stop, though.
Just too far back to really get an effective tow here. Ott is pulling away on the straight there. So I think Trotsky might be running a lot more downforce in the car, and that's letting him build up a gap in the infield section, for lack of a better phrasing, and just letting him. He'll get a few tenths on the straight, sure, but I think he's just going to build up a lot more, given how confident he seems through these corners. He said he was so planted through the last sector. That's probably why.
Yeah, Balas seems to have hit a little bit of a wall here with his pace, unfortunately. And if he's starting to feel that tyre drop off in the Acura a little bit more than the Cadillac driver is.
I think it's traffic right now that's helping and hindering, because Ott is being blocked by a GT3 as well.
Albert Preem, and Jean-Paul Seaman both in the pit lane in GTP Pro.
So which will lead for now.
Oh, and contact with the GT3.
No. It has not been a good day to be Rick Van Overbeek.
Unsafe to join.
I think his nose cut off, unfortunately.
Oh no!
Oh,
And further
that's-
contact afterwards.
Antonori sees a car side.
That was a bit of an unsafe rejoin. I have to say, he should have stayed still until there was a bigger gap. Race control will be looking at that. Meatball flag for both of those cars. That is extremely unfortunate.
That's unless they got a fast repair, that's their day's over. Certainly.
This is Daniel Morphy. Very foggy out there at the moment. But the other cars in class, GTP Pro, 3 cars in the pit lane. Is he going to pass them all? Looks like he is. Casper coming out the pit lane. And he's behind Morphy. They're racing on the exit. Morphy cuts across authoritatively on the exit.
And has his tyres up to temp, importantly. These do not look like particularly warm conditions, so Umland's going to struggle to get heat in those tyres. He will have a draft which could offset that when he gets to the straights. The question is, how big is the gap going to be when he gets there?
And the Audi, like we said earlier on, struggling for straight line speed compared to Morphy's BMW.
See where the gap settles. Just under 6/10 as they come onto the run into T10. Umland might be behind for now, but he's certainly not out of the fight overall. Ubertali and anyone else hoping to fight for the GT3 Pro win looks like they're a bit too far back right now to make that happen, but it's certainly a dogfight for the lead.
Absolutely great to have a fight this close. We said, didn't we, earlier on, about 10 minutes into this race, if these guys can be this close in the last few minutes of the race, that's when it's going to get really exciting, and that's what we've got. And I have to say, on Casper's behalf, despite being sat in the pit lane, letting the tyres lose a bit of temp, he stayed very close on this lap. And he's going to get a mega tow down to turn 1. And we can already see Morphy going defensive.
Just a little bit of a move to the right before he realises that, wait, there's a GTP coming by, I need to just let them through. Will get a bit of a tow back in return though, and that should mean he's safe for now. Obviously the effect's not as good as Zimmerlin is currently getting, which lets him stay at that about 6/10 window, which is about where the natural aero bubble settles through the corners and the straights. And then you lose a bit of time through on entry in the mid corner, but you can just gain it back by putting your foot down and getting towed through the line.
Staying close, that's what he needs to do. Might not be easy to get past him on the straight, but any opportunity needs to be ready to pounce.
Meanwhile, in the GTP Pro field, which has taken the second stop, Trotsky currently sits 22 seconds off the lead overall.
Want to
Still
know.
has a chance to pick off Ott, but he's fallen back a fair bit overall. I'd say the traffic's certainly not going in his favour, and I think Ott has found pace in the car to keep himself in that position. So Ishton, Priam and Seaman running your 1, 2, 3 overall right now as the time ticks down. Less than 2 minutes left in this race. Van der Wacker leads the AMS category. Duhamel currently hunting a pro field. Under investigation from race control.
See if I can find that for us.
Quick look before we go to the checkered flag then.
Ah, it's this one.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense.
And there has been another incident since.
Avale being
Oh, tagging the side of a GT3 vet.
Oh, is that contact?
Yeah,
that
you
looked
can
like
just
nothing.
hear the crunch of the metal.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can go from a far chase view. Oh, yeah. Ah, net code.
Net code.
Instantly knew.
I say that did not look like an incident.
Oh no, what's happened to
Like 10
Matisse?
seconds from going out. Wishton's got off the track.
He's broken the front wheel.
Priam is 12 seconds, 10 seconds.
Oh no,
more
contact. Let's have a look what happened. Curb! The curb, he
Takes
lost
too
it on the
much
curb.
But what's going on in the rest of the race then? Because they're coming to the checkered flag. This is the last lap of the race.
Race control, that was completely...
Priam will take the lead.
Race control, please check black flag.
Wishton...
He's lost the lead to
Gets
Preem.
off-
Preem is in the lead. Oh, and his teammate dives past as well.
I think, yeah, that was inevitable. You had to believe Wishton's going to go the long way around the chicane. What did we just witness, though? From absolutely out of nowhere, congratulations, Albert Priam. You will come around the final few corners. One to go and a clear road in front. Albert Priam will win the season opener for the Anti-Stall Racing IMSA series, but by God, what a race it has been to get here.
Matisse leading the majority of the race out of that early incident between the previous two leaders, and he's now dropped to P6. He's going to lose at least another position. He's going to be the last car on the lead lap, it looks like. Let's go to Danny, about to cross a line. He's not giving up this battle, but it is with a pro car. He's going to win in AM. Coming across the line, a win on debut for Danny van der Wacker. Absolutely incredible.
Phenomenal drive from him all day. He's been
GT3 AM, we missed this one because of his position between the GTPs, but Ignis also winning on debut. Absolutely incredible to see. Daniel Morpy's out. What happened to Daniel Morpy? He didn't take the checkered flag.
I don't see him on the list. I haven't scored as P1
What's happened
on my client. So did he take the flag at his toe?
Looks like he's possibly taken the flag, but it's not registered on iRace Control. Very, very bizarre. Let's see what happens. Ubertali also seems to just... Look, they've not taken the checkered flag. Morpy, Ubertelli, and Umerland haven't taken the checkered flag.
I am checking in iRacing.
Ubertelli also didn't take the checkered flag. He's now showing as out and not as checkered flag. Is this Casper Ullman? Is he going to come and take the win? He is.
I have... So I'm looking at iRacing. I think there might be a bug in the overlay, because I have in iRacing Umerland... No, I have Umerland scored in P1.
Yeah.
What?
Matea and Morpy did not take enough fuel. They did one more lap than they thought they would.
Oh,
so
despite
doing more distance than both Morpy and Ubertelli, they both ran out of fuel. Because the leaders passed them once more than they expected, so they didn't take enough fuel. What an incredible end to round one in Season 5 of IMSA. The leaders in GT3 Pro did not fuel up the car enough. Let's see where they finish. They did still do 80%, so that'll be up to race control to look through the regulations to see how that scored. But one thing is for certain, Casper Umerland wins in GT3 Pro. GTP Pro, the leader crashed out on the last lap and didn't even finish... Well, did finish on the lead lap, but finished last on the lead lap. Let's take another look at that incident with Mateus. Absolutely unfortunate. He's already got the damage here. That's his second bit of contact. We didn't see that one. But let's look at the original incident here. Too much curb. And a big snap on the exit.
Destroys the front of the car, and then just to salt the wounds, waiting for the chasing field to catch up to him. And
what an incredible end to an incredible race. Don't forget about Davy van der Wacker, won in GTP AM without ever having raced in ASR before. So at least Dutch League Racing won one class today. They'll be extremely pleased with that. Also won with Casper Umerland. So they take that. They could have had 3 or 4 though. That will haunt them. And it's important to say as well, Ignis won in GT3 AM, but actually was P2 overall in GT3. An absolutely incredible drive on debut. What a race.
It's a fantastic showing from a lot of these drivers, certainly, but my God, was there's a lot to unpack, and I don't want to flame too hard, But there was a lot going on in that race that perhaps shouldn't have been going on. That has drastically affected the outcome of this race. I will say, when someone drops the ball, it takes a very good drive to catch them. So I will say congratulations to Prim. Phenomenal drive to come home, but perhaps wasn't coming in expecting a win. Just walks away with one in the end. But yeah, just a wild drive from start to finish.
Just being informed that Adam Jarvis, who finished P2 in GT3 AM, has been incorrectly classified on the overlay. So he should be GT3 Pro. So he will finish P2, I believe, in GT3 Pro.
Yep, he is listed as Pro on the timing screen. That's a weird one.
And we'll fix that. GTP Pro, GT3 Pro. There we go. Moves up into... Not sure where he finished because he's not showing up on there. I think he probably finished... Well, I think he finished P2 of Cars on Road. We'll leave that down to race control to decide how they want to discuss that. I believe we've got a couple of drivers ready for interview, so we'll drag them in. It's Albert Preem and Casper Ullman, the winners in pro classes. Let's drag them in. All right, Albert, we'll go with you first.
Oh, yeah.
What an incredible end to that race.
Yeah, you can say that again. I didn't expect that at all because Matty's way out of my league. He's always faster than me, but today he was unlucky and I was lucky.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. He had a little bit of a snap over the curb and lost the car, but I mean, for you, that's perfect.
Yeah, it suits me well, I guess. I didn't expect it at all. It's not my circuit, but yeah, I didn't make any mistakes, I guess, this race. So yeah, I was really happy. Yeah.
What we love
so,
to see.
Talk me through that last lap, what you actually saw, though, because presumably you were catching up to the... You see on the Delta, you see you're closing in on Winston, and then, like, what actually did you see on track as you went past him?
No, yeah, I know him personal, Matti, and we are all in the same Discord channel with the race. So he already told on the Discord, oh, guys, I crashed. And I guess Albert, me, is going to win because he had really bad... damage, but you still have to see it first. But then after a couple of seconds, I already saw him driving without the nose and the wheels are gone. And yeah, it's sorry for him, I must say, but yeah, for me a win is a win, so I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely, what a race. I mean, you're going to want to go back and rewatch that. I can tell you that. So much happened.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially the last sector with the GT3 is really like a roulette game. Are they going to go left? Are they going to go right? Do they stay on the line? And so it's difficult sometimes, but with a little bit of patience and a little bit of luck also, was this my end result. So my hands were in the air when I crossed the finish.
Yeah, well done. Okay, Casper.
Yeah, it's probably the only win I would get, but a win is a win.
I wouldn't say that.
Much.
There's still a lot that can happen. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you very much.
Casper, we'll come to you now. What an end to that race.
Yeah, man. I was, I came just behind. I came out of the pits just behind Daniel, and I was like, "Oh man, have I overfueled? Is it going to be an extra lap? Is it not going to be an extra lap?" And same thing with the Discord voice channel. I heard Matthijs say, "Yeah, I crashed," and I was like, "Wait, what is that? Does that mean we're going to get an extra lap?" And then out of the chicane in the last sector, I saw Daniel, going very slowly, and I was like, "Wait, does he not have the fuel?" And then he started stuttering on the front straight, and I was like, "Wow!" I almost couldn't believe it, to be fair.
Yeah, it was
like you go.
Genuinely, we were in the booth and. Kirby will agree with me here. We could not work out what was going on. We thought they'd finished, but then our overlays were saying they hadn't. They were out of the race, and it was all over the place.
Yeah, same thing with me. I genuinely, at one point, I genuinely didn't know if it was going to be an extra lap or not. It was very tight with Matthijs in the last sector if he was going to overtake us or not. So, I was guessing basically, and fortunately, it worked out my way. Otherwise, all credits to Daniel, because he would have won that, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, incredible. Yeah. Good luck in the future races. Congratulations on the win. You did get the fuel right, so you didn't do anything wrong. Don't worry. You got it right, they got it wrong. Always a good idea to slightly overfuel as well for any incidents like that, you have to say. Okay.
Yeah, I'll learn from this race. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Morpy in the first half of the race, I think you were nearby to him, was saving a lot of fuel as well. So surprised he didn't go for the one stop, but clearly couldn't make it on 2 stops in the end.
Yeah, I couldn't make it on one stop. I halfway through I realized maybe I could make it, but eventually I abandoned that plan, and I was kind of frustrated because Daniel just stayed behind me the whole time, and I just thought to myself, he's gonna save fuel, and he's gonna jump me in the pits. And then I had a few incidents as well in the pit lane, unfortunate. So then I came after the first stop. I came out 3 seconds behind. Now, in my head, I was like, "Yeah, this is over." But a little bit of good luck came my side, and yeah, I won.
Congratulations.
One thing I would like to ask quickly: what was the hypercar traffic like out there? Because we saw some very dangerous moves being made all day.
I had a few hairy moments, I can tell you that, but you can see there's it depends on the corner you get them and on the sector. Sometimes you could just lift and you can let them by, but otherwise other times I'm every half seconds I'm looking in the mirror like same thing with what that Albert said with the GT3s. Are they going to go left, right? Are they going to go inside? Are they going to wait? Yeah, few heart attacks as well. So, but it was fun.
Well, Norman, congratulations once again on your victory in the field.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's all from us at Anti-Stall Racing this week. We'll be back next week on Thursday again for round 2.
We will not be back next week.
We will not be back next week. It's a break week. As soon as I said that, I thought I should have checked. So we've got a break week next week because it's a C-Ring 12 on iRacing. So hope everyone has fun in that's participating. If you are, feel free to share your screenshots and liveries on the Anti-Stall Racing Discord. We always love to see that kind of thing. We will be back in 2 weeks' time on the 28th of March for Portimao. And from Portimao onwards, we will be using generative weather. So there is a chance of rain. Make sure you tune in to catch that. And then we'll be back again the week after that for another race at Watkins Glen. So thanks everyone that tuned in. If you're not already, give the video a like and hit the subscribe button. Helps us out massively to keep this going. And anybody that's not in Discord and wants to take part, just get in, open a ticket, and we'll give you any of the help you need. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been lovely. Me and Kirby, big thank you to all of you for tuning in. Kirby, any last words?
Thanks for sticking with us. It's been a bit of a messy broadcast, a lot of teething issues getting back into this, but one hell of a race to watch still.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll leave it there. Goodbye.